I can't believe
Welcome to the SportSpace podcast. I'm your host with the mother freaking most true golfer.
And I'm your favorite co-host. Here with some good vibes only.
Yes, sir. GPOs, baby.
Offer. Here to spread the good word of the Offspace podcast.
Yes, sir, Ski. And the first thing we want to say is shouts out to everybody. New squad, new beginning. And same squad, different day, to be quite honest.
Ooh.
You know, I keep the real ones with
me.
But
you got 16th room?
A big, you know what I'm saying, bro? Shh. We're hiding the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a paid site one day. Y'all are going to get the album. The album's coming. But we have a dishwasher running. Definitely do this in the living room. So have to go ahead and let y'all know that this mother tricker is... we riding, but it's definitely one of those that you might hear background noise, which it is what it is.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if y'all are tired of hearing background noise and you want us to upgrade our set, upgrade our space, then go ahead and leave a review on Apple Podcasts telling us to do so, or what you think about the podcast in general. But shit, that's all I gotta say.
Yes, Sirski. But getting straight into it, since we are on the sports space right now, I wanted to go ahead and dive into a couple things. One, I wanted to go and not walk back anything, but wanted to reiterate something.
Yeah, it's time to walk it back, man.
From last week, I wanted to say that I stand on everything I said.
Oh, wow.
I stand on every single thing I said, for sure. But, just in case niggas want to act fake sensitive, I don't hate any of those players. You know what I'm saying? It's just you have to be very clear,
Nah, we'll be real. Obviously, there's embellishing and exaggerations for things like that, but all these players have solid careers at the end of the days, and what they do and what they accomplish is dope in its entirety.
But
you gotta be real about when it comes to the creme de la creme.
LeBron is a lot of y'all's daddy, bro.
Sorry. He is. Most of the league. Two of y'all, he's not.
Goo Goo Gaga, get over it, bro.
Steph and KD, he's not yours.
That might be it.
KD, you got this year. If you don't win this year, though, it looks bad for you. It looks bad from a fan standpoint. That's all I'm gonna say.
But it's funny because most of the talking we have this week to do on the sports space, which give or take however long in time the sports space is this week, it doesn't actually have to do with basketball, which tends to be what we normally dive into the most, or just one of our favorites. But this week, one of the number one topics we have to do with fighting, but we're going to get to the fighting topics after we say a couple things. One, I wanted to bring
I don't know if you have one written, but there is something we need to talk about that I forgot to mention. But we'll come back to that too when we get there.
For sure. Obviously. I mean, go hard, bro. But one is shouts out to Ibrahimovic for, even though we talked about Ibra in the negative light, which we always will keep accountable and, call people out when they're on bullshit. And definitely the whole LeBron situation, he was in the super wrong. So let's be clear about that. But Ibra just declared that he's going to be playing for the Swedish national team again.
I don't know how old that man is.
I think a damn near 40.
This is the last time we're going to see a lot of players playing for their team. So it's kind of cool to see that he's just going back in for one last hurrah. I don't know what's going to happen. I know they're not going to... Let's be real. We know what's going to happen. But it's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, it's going to be the last World Cup of, the old guard, kind of. And it's going to kind of open up, because the last World Cup we watched the new guard shit on niggas, so let's be very clear.
We already know
the new guard is already here, and we already know who's, leading the new school, but, this is the last one that the old guard still is capable of making their presence felt, I feel like.
At least being in it.
Especially being in it.
Because they're about to retire, a lot of these guys afterwards.
For sure. So I'm excited, and it's going to be dope to see him dressed up in that yellow and blue again, so, shouts out to Ibra there. Moving right along as well, when it comes to not just soccer, but moving on to American football from international football. Shouts out to, from two Saints fans, Drew Brees, who finally officially, once again, double down on the finally, even though we're going to drench it in respect.
Yeah, I was going to say finally. I think he understood the moment he was at, and for him to gracefully be like, I'm retiring, and just call it done,
on the exact day
we can celebrate
that he signed the contract 15 years ago.
We can celebrate
team,
that,
so we can celebrate it.
He's made so many career accomplishments past just the Super Bowl. There's so many quarterback accomplishments he has. Apparently, he's the only QB to ever throw for multiple 5,000+ yard seasons.
And he has 3 of them, right?
No, he has 5.
5 of them?
He has 5 of them, apparently. So
yeah, because Drew, let's just be very clear.
There was years he was killing. Killing.
And even the Falcons posted on Instagram about him retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Like they posted, say, "Goodbye, Drew. We're not going to miss you." Just because, like, the terror. Be clear, those 7 to 9 seasons. There's no reason that a team should be negative. And I get it's a rivalry, but you should be still very afraid of the power of one dude's arm.
Yeah.
Like when he was in his prime, like the shootouts, the battles he would have with niggas, bro. The battles.
Good luck for people at the end of the day, because he was.
Remember when he was the overtime G? When he was like he had the record in the NFL. Like if it came to overtime, the Saints will win because Drew doesn't lose in overtime. Like he went a stretch of years without losing.
I just remember him like being so clutch in late minutes of getting down the field efficiently, and like there wasn't many I feel like players at that position I remember being like the same caliber of him in that regard. Like obviously you have your Tom Brady, but like what's it going to a goblin? He's the GOAT. We've accepted that at this point, but it's nice to see at least someone on our team be as winning and as good of a player as he was. So shouts out to Drew Brees. I'm hoping that
the Super Bowl.
This kind of, they said, Sean Payton actually said too, with Brees retiring. I don't know what that is. That's kind of, yeah, he said with Drew retiring, he doesn't, it's going to be Jameis and Taysom fighting for the QB position.
I hope
that's not true.
I hope that was just publicity, him saying that. Because did you see the deal they offered Taysom? Like they changed his deal. They changed his deal to a 4-year extension of like it's something actually that looks like the worst deal in NFL history. Like it was like a 4-year extension and it hit him like 120 or 140 million, like something nuts. Like he's getting QB money for the next couple years, like starting QB money. But apparently someone was breaking it down in the comments, and I'm hoping because there's those random tinfoilers that make you feel a little bit more comfortable before you have a heart attack. I'm hoping, apparently, with the math for this year, them giving him that extension actually saves them $7 million on cap space. Plus, they have a clause in this new extension in comparison to his old deal when it was like the X tens of millions each year or whatever the fuck they changed it for, to where like now they can drop him at any time.
Okay.
Or get rid of it at any time.
So
I think they're gearing up so that they can give Jameis the job and say, sorry.
I'm telling you, everything I've seen with the Taysom situation, they're playing this man.
They're definitely playing this man.
I appreciate what he's done for the team, and you're fine.
Swiss Army knife for real.
But
does everything.
Don't expect for them to make you their guy, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. Like because you're not.
Bro, they restructured that deal literally so Sean can look at this nigga when he says, "Bruh, I'm leaving if I'm not QB."
And they're
so that Sean can be like, "All right, nigga."
When they really see who's their guy, they're about to drop him and pay out whatever, because I'm sure they got to pay him out something to like sever
for
that
contract. Rest of the year or something.
That for the year, so it might be a stupid amount for the year, but come on, now they're rich.
And they're saving money
exactly
in the long term. So I mean, like, however they wrote it out, I hope that's kind of gearing up to show us, because like Cullen said last episode, regardless of how we feel, and I know we want to keep this on Drew, so I'm gonna bring this back in a second.
Be biting my nails,
but it's like, at the end of the day, Jameis Winston was a number one option that was in a number one pick that was in an offense that was literally like
throw that shit and hope for the best.
Throw that shit and hope for the best. So now that he has a real offense around him, and he has somebody like a Sean who's going to be drawing up plays specifically for him and not just being like, yo, chuck that shit, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that we do give Jameis a shot. And worst case, if we give him a shot for a few years, then
a few years,
Joe Burrow.
A few years,
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, no, I feel like we're in the position now where, again, this is all coming from somebody who accepts that my football knowledge might not be as deep as like something like my NBA knowledge is down third and like whatever.
Let's be clear, football knowledge, I'm near the bottom.
So that'd be cool, but our team, I don't know, we've been decent, like really pretty fucking good for a little while now. Pretty fucking good. Like it doesn't sustain, So you try and make some shit shake while you can before things start to go bad. You got to pay some people this, down the third, like we're already falling into. I feel like Jameis is a now or never situation, which kind of is a lot of pressure on him to perform. But if he has like a really good season and we don't do anything, then that's different.
I want to get back to the now or never because I have a question for you. But sorry, finish.
No, that was it.
Okay, cool. I thought so, but I didn't want to be rude. But like with the now or never situation with Jameis, right? Let's move on. One, I want you, just so we can take it back to Drew, just to end Drew talk for a second. I want you to think about like, if you can, as a Saints fan, for many years we've been Saints fans. He's been our QB for 15 years, right? Like, truly, I think I became a Saints fan right when Drew was, because I think that's right when we were. Oh, no, because we were in Louisiana prior. So never mind. But, like, with Drew, what do you think, in your recent history and recent memory, is your favorite Drew Brees moment in these last 15 years?
Because
mine is the obvious one, and I was hoping maybe you have a different one, but mine is for sure the obvious one, which is the Super Bowl. But I'll go into that after.
Mine isn't so much a specific Drew Brees memory, as more so like just who he is in the sense of like when it came to like their pregame and getting his team hype and that
like little white boy was getting those Black Titans ready, bro.
Like no, that man was a leader for real.
He was a leader for real.
That shit was definitely inspiring to see as somebody who likes to carry themselves as such in certain ways, and like being able to inspire people like that. I tried to carry myself in a way to do the same in other means. So that was probably like my favorite Drew Brees, like the thing about him that I liked. Past obviously like just the play.
My favorite just specific isolated moments, and I'm happy you did that actually, just so we could show, because I know a lot of people bugged when they saw the weird shit like a year or two ago with Drew and his comment, like the flag and kneeling and shit like that.
He just doesn't understand.
People have to also realize
that makes me sad. That does make me sad, the fact that he said some shit like that, but I know it's coming from he doesn't understand.
And that's like a disconnected white ultra millionaire. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like he's not only disconnected, not only white, but he's dumb rich to add to the disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Like he tries his best, and I'm not justifying any of those words because he went back and he walked it back once his teammates talked to him and people talked to him. But like truly, as people from New Orleans, like I wish people understood the impact that this man has in the city, because like Drew even talked about in his own retirement shit just because of how much he's done. And these are inner city New Orleans kids, like how his work has just begun now, because like now that he's retired, he could really pour into his life's work of just helping the city of New Orleans and just being around the city and touching the people. Like this man literally bleeds New Orleans and like bleeds for that city, bleeds for those people. And I'm just happy to have somebody like him, because at the end of the day, we've had so many disconnected white people that y'all have just given passes in so many industries. Somebody that looks ready to learn and ready to be active in those communities, I'm always going to give.
That's what I think is the upside.
Like that goes into his
that
personality in the way you're talking.
I think that's the upside, though. What you're saying is like, it's different because I was really disappointed, but at the same time, he's somebody who's always eager to learn and kind of be a better person, and that's, you know, because as you try and traverse this whole like shitty realm of hope, because it should never be the oppressor, like the oppressed like person's like duty to teach like the oppressor what they're doing wrong and shit like that. No. But we know how it is. We know how it is, like being black people in America. Sometimes you have to have conversations that you don't want to have, but you know are gonna better you and your people and shit like that.
And be clear with boundaries. We definitely establish quickly. At least in my experience, I feel like you probably are the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the older you get, you realize too more and more easily like when it's worth and when it's not. Like there are.
I don't pick every fight like that because sometimes I don't. It's not worth wasting my time.
And there are friends of mine or people that I care about and respect that I know I'm gonna call them out on because I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then there are other people that I'm just like, you have nothing to do with my life. I don't care about you. And the person that ends up beating your ass one day, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be the person that maybe teaches you that lesson if you learn one, but it's not going to be me. I'm not going to waste my time.
I usually never hope that somebody gets their ass beat. No, why? Because that could happen when you're 60, bro. But when you're 60, you already got a kid. That kid already has friends.
But sometimes it's not worth the energy, because think about like a Donald Trump. Like being real, like a Trump clearly hasn't gotten his ass beat. Like, is that somebody that I feel like would be a different human being if he got drugged at like 20? We'd see a different Trump.
You might never see that person.
But you might never. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I just hope, though,
not my breath.
It goes in, like, what we were talking about yesterday with our homie Jesse. It was like, bro, this is one of those things. It's just like, as a society, we fail our youth every day. Like, I know everybody likes to say, but I do it for the kids. I do it for this. And we're getting off of sports, but I'm going to bring it back. But damn, bro, every day no one really operates for the kids, because if we did, then we wouldn't be passing on all of our bullshit to the next generation.
Talk about it.
It's all, you know, we're going to, as humans, hopefully strive to do better on that
one. Too.
We'll
just
come back
in case sports listeners, I am adding something to the regular podcast.
It's gonna drop at the same time.
It's not. It's gonna be staggered.
But like they'll know, I think.
But just
yeah.
But this is going to be, we're definitely going to have a discussion on the regular podcast about youth and the importance of, and even drawing that back to what you were saying, because at the end of the day, if you had that youth, you would be thinking about the youth more, because you know how important it is to preserve that. You know how important it is to teach those people. But moving right along, we want to give a thank you to Drew. Shouts out to him, and really blessings for everything he's done in the city of New Orleans, whether it be bringing us a Super Bowl that we never had, like a lot of cities, especially the one I live in now, can't say, like whether it be like the highs moments, the 5 seasons we saw this nigga throw over 500 5,000 yards. A few of them 7 to 9. Like still just gunslinger. Like we
It's
just
cool,
had
though.
entertainment
It's cool,
every night. We had entertainment every night for the most part throughout this man's career. This is definitely, it sucks having to go and it being time, but it is time.
But everybody's got to move eventually.
So, moving right along, one thing I didn't want to say with American football before we got into fighting, which will round us out as our like funnier topic, not funnier, but it
Really
really
get into just other news because we get SportSpace. You know what I'm saying? We don't just do one sport; we do a sports space.
Exactly.
So whatever's
whatever's important each week we're going to talk about, baby. But I did want to give a shout out to a bunch of teams making crazy moves in the NFL. Right, a lot of teams. It looks like the Jaguars are definitely trying to get ready for Trevor Lawrence because like they are just like drafting and like trading, signing, drafting. They're trying to not make the mistake of our star getting injured the first year like a Joe Burrow because we couldn't protect him. So they're definitely trying to set things in line. Cam Newton, because it's another young black man.
Because Trevor Lawrence can move, but he can't move like that. Like he's still a human being at the end of the day.
Bro,
like
Joe Burrow could move well,
you know?
and we still just saw him running 40s all game. Like
somebody's gonna catch you at the end.
Somebody's eventually, and it might just be Chase Young. You know what I'm saying? But like fucking. So moving on from. No. Shouts out to Cam though because that's another young black man that we definitely want to
just
see
re-signed for a year.
He just re-signed for a year for the Pats, and it looks like the Pats are making some serious moves in like a win situation with him. They signed two of the highest touted tight ends in free agency right now. Like they're trying to give Cam weapons to really show off because at the end of the day it's still Cam Newton, so they want to give him a chance.
I think I saw something about how in this time frame they've spent over $60 million on contracts just trying to get like their team right. And I saw a tweet, funny enough, it was like Belichick saw Brady win a Super Bowl after leaving and said, and I took that personally.
Oh, for sure. He did take that personally.
And now they're on like a rampage. I'm excited to see it.
So we'll definitely keep an eye on as much NFL news as we can, since we do make this the space where we just speak on sports. Like you said, whatever sports, there's weeks we came in here talking about tennis, weeks we focus on soccer, weeks we focus on this, focus on that. Basketball seems to be a big one, but we love the Hornets.
It's always going to be in rotation until the offseason, and even then it's going to be in rotation.
It's at least like today, once again, we started with a little basketball, but that's all the basketball we have for today, because not really much
I got a little
unless
bit.
You have
we didn't start with it. We didn't start with it.
The first thing that came out of my mouth was Kyrie.
This nigga back that. Yeah, but we didn't really talk on anything that
so
happened.
That's still starting basketball. Like I was saying. But last things for last when it comes to sports for this week is Anthony Joshua just signed a 2-fight deal with Tyson Fury. So that means they're going to be, I think both of them have belts currently. I'm not too sure, like whatever, because I don't know the division of all of this shit when it comes to fighting, to be completely honest with you. But I know that they're going to be competing for a locked-in 2 fights, which is important.
I can't remember who has what, but I think one of them is fighting to kind of just get like all the belts, if that makes sense. And I'm fucking this up too. They're trying to unify like their belts and shit, but I can't remember who it is. I think it's Anthony Joshua. Maybe it was Tyson Fury.
But I'm excited for that just because I love watching Fury fight.
I think it was Anthony Joshua.
And I do want, especially with a titan like Fury, like we do love watching him fight, but B, I want to see Anthony Joshua versus a titan like Fury, because after we saw Anthony Joshua in that loss, a year or two ago, he came back and won. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, we get it. But it's like I want to see him versus a Goliath like a Fury.
Dude, everyone starts to question you as soon as you have a loss, but who knows, man?
That's why I want to see him versus a Fury.
Anthony Joshua.
Niggas will never talk about that Mexican fight again if you beat Tyson Fury. Be clear,
like, because it's gonna be long forgotten at that point, and like you earned it, and I get that. Like, I'm excited to see it because, not even because of Anthony Joshua, and you would expect blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. Why you're not rooting for him? I'm not saying I'm rooting for anybody. I want to see a good fight, but Tyson Fury has gained every bit of my respect because that man is a legitimate 6'11". 6'10" boxer, like not just swinging fists, hoping for the best, trying to knock people out. Like he's really got hands. He got coordination.
This man's got technique.
He's got everything. Like, and it's all there on a 6'10" frame.
It's not like I'm just big and want to beat the shit out of people. No, he's really a boxer. like
seeing people like that is just like you're witnessing some shit, bro. Because like this isn't gladiator days. You're not just going down to the pit seeing people doing this regularly.
There was somebody else he fought who seemed to be one of those just like big lug types,
man.
Big nigga, heavy hands.
Let's cut to it, man.
Right, so Anthony Joshua, cool. Yeah. You're gonna have to. I'm sorry because I'm exactly the antithesis of what Ezra was talking about. I'm one of the niggas. I'm gonna have to see it, and I'm happy I get to see it versus Tyson Fury. So I really don't care about talking about these fights anymore because the more important thing to me is that nigga Deonte Wilder ducked.
Deonte Wilder was supposed to have another fight, and I feel like we all forgot that shit. If he opted into it, he could have had in that third fight, right?
Sure.
But
the time passed.
Yeah.
He waited till the time frame passed. He ducked.
I think he's ducking him.
I
definitely think he is. For what reason? I hope it's not personal family shit, because that's going to be super lame. Very sad.
Of course,
that that was the reason that we didn't get to see another fight, and like he's going through deeper shit outside. Obviously, you hope people's lives are okay so they can do this. But if his life is okay and he was just ducking the smoke from Tyson Fury, that's different, man.
He looked shook after the last
That's
fight,
different. He was making excuses.
I said it, and he was making excuses.
He said his little armor shit was weighing him down. He was tired by the time he got enough. Why'd you wear it?
That nigga Tyson walked in just like,
why'd you wear it?
Bro, this nigga was...
You know you can't make... Nah, you're an athlete at the end of the day. You know you can't make excuses like that. No one's hearing it.
Bro, I was talking... Like, we've said this on the pod, bro. The nigga that's listening to smooth R&B music or smooth tunes, just like looking so tranquil before a fight, actually is a fighter because the other career path for him was a sociopathic murderer. Like, those are the people that actually you need to watch out for when it comes to fights. If that was Tyson Fury before the last 2 fights with Wilder, that he wiped this nigga up off the floor. And so, like...
I don't know, man. I don't know who his next fight's going to be. Maybe we see an Anthony Joshua fight, to be honest. But we'll see if that we get that one back. But speaking of fighting, I saw something else. The fight's locked in, man. I know Chuka doesn't really give as much of a shit about this, but it's hilarious because I can't say YouTube boxing anymore, man. Because at this point, he's a legitimate boxer. But hasn't fought anybody that's a legitimate boxer yet, but Jake Paul got the Ben Askren fight locked in. So he's fighting a UFC fighter now, but in a boxing match.
That's cool.
And Ben Askren, he's not like the best boxer. He's known for like wrestling, but he's a legitimate fighter. So whatever happens, if he loses, it looks bad for him.
He's about to be roasted by his community.
First off, his community's getting him out of here.
Getting him all the way.
Because Dana White just came on like making jokes too about how Jake's not a boxer and all these things, and like, you know how he is the UFC, right?
Yeah.
He's not trying to get Ben Askren to fight after that. You know what I mean?
Bro,
like,
he's gonna be the nigga at the label who you had a smash hit 8 years ago, and then you're still looking in the room and you see a nigga like Lil TJ getting more attention than you in 2021. Like this nigga, like, and Lil TJ fine, let's be honest, but Ben Askren, bro, like the second he loses to a Jake Paul, if he loses, obviously, because I'm gonna give fighters credit where credit's due too, because just like with training, and it's not even just training.
I'm not gonna say he's gonna lose.
I'm not gonna say
I think he could,
but it's just like, bro, fighting at the end of the day, bro. As much shit as I talk, as much shit as other people talk, bro. Like I'm a good fighter. Like as a non-professional fighter, I'm a good fighter. You could ask this nigga, like, look at my frame. You would never predict, unless you've had me swing at you before. You will never predict how quick I actually am for somebody this big. Like you'll never predict certain things when it comes to heavyweight, like blah blah blah. But that being said, like the smallest person in the world could beat my ass. And what I mean by that is, yes, for the most part, I'm comfortable with myself versus anybody that's not a pro. Like versus pros, we have a whole different discussion. But it's still hitting another human being at the end of the day.
Bro,
if you are not wary, you can just get hit in the wrong way, and it's sleep for anybody.
I'm about to say it's slump time for you, man.
Anybody, bro. Fighting is fighting at the end of the day. Anyone can win.
You're fighting somebody though who, at the end of the day, at this point, it's not like when they first started. It was mean.
It's not like a couple months,
2 months, like whatever.
It's like this is a couple years.
He's been here for like over 2 years now. Like you might fuck around and lose, and that shit is going to be hilarious to fucking see.
Because you can't take anybody, just like you were saying, bro. You can't take anybody lightly in fighting, bro. Like I've used the example on the main podcast, but I know this is a SportSpace, bro. When I did Muay Thai, like the only time that I felt like I got my ass kicked was sparring a woman, and that's because I went in versus a dog, and I was treating her like she was nothing.
Bro, I'm gonna say you're in a fighting gym, bro. At the end of the day, I see a woman lined up against me. We both know we're gotten into. If she lined up against me, I'm probably the one. To be honest, I'm probably at the disadvantage. If I walk into something that I'm new at, and we're in a gym that we're fighting people, and a woman steps up against me, she knows what she's doing. She knows why she's there. But the thing is, she's trained.
You're thinking of
like,
all this.
You have to set your pride aside.
I get you, but that's hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
Because I agree with everything.
I'm not talking so much to you in the past or you now.
Course.
I'm saying for just people, because you're not unique to this. I know there's a lot of people who have gotten their ass beat by women. Did you hear the dude who tried to rob a woman and she turned out to be like a UFC fighter?
Oh, beat the brakes out this nigga. Beat the brake. Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. After that, like, I'm telling you, the next nigga I ended up fighting, which was a nigga that had been at that gym much longer than me, I beat the dog shit out of this nigga. Because I was so embarrassed about what happened beforehand, because I let myself be caught off guard. Because I pride myself, bro. You know how much I've talked about throughout our lives, bro, whether it be 40-yard dashes, whether it be 100-yard dashes, whether it be one-on-one in basketball, whether it be swimming challenges, whether it be tennis, whether it be soccer. I'm talking about every sport I've played against women. You know, I've always been the one guy that looks like a dick, because I treat treat you guys the exact same. But for something that comes to fighting, it's harder because you think about like hitting a girl or putting your paws on a girl. This girl had her little mouthpiece in, she had her head thing in, and I didn't have a headpiece in. All I had was just for my raps. I wasn't worried about anything, bro. I was like, bro, I'm fighting a bitch. Like, just being real. She walks up to me, just kind of smiles.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. You know people are gonna go, but I get you going.
But no,
of
course. Sorry, but it's like I apologize for saying it that way. But like, she walks up to me. And you can see like the little smile on her face.
She knew what she was about to do too.
I kind of smile. I'm like, oh, bro, I'm about to fight a shorty, bro. What the fuck is going on? She's like, bro, this is the class after the fucking teacher is praising me, telling me I could be a fighter, all this shit. So I'm in my bag, bro. I'm like, bro, I'm about to make an example.
He said, oh, they don't even know about me.
Like, bro, I thought I was about to pull some fucking like hands not even at the ready, like dancing and shit. Like people would start cheering, and you're like, bro, I got the brake speed off of me.
So say fast as fuck.
She slipped in quick to close that gap, and it was
it's probably difficult too. You're not trying to look down, but you gotta
hands were moving like Dragon Ball Z. No bullshit. Like no bullshit. Hands were moving like Dragon Ball Z at my face.
Bro, but, what?
So definitely, that's why like you learned early that especially in an arena like fighting, you can't underestimate anybody. So it's like even though I strongly favor people other than a Jake until they prove themselves truly, like versus like people that claim to be in that shit, like. I can't ever count them out or say that they won't win. And even in those instances, once again, if Mayweather walked into this fight like this, doing these kind of things, and you know what I'm saying, trying to pull like Zoe dances and shit, he could get his ass beat by anybody.
I was about to say, if he
like,
did that and it wasn't a boxing match, at the end of the day, like, you're still a human being, bro. I know boxing, you can't do certain things to set up like a punch or whatever, but if you did some shit like that in like a street fight against something, like, you know how disrespectful that is? You're not gonna be able to dodge everything. They're gonna put the weight on you, stop it.
But bro, you're not gonna do some shit like that to me in a street fight. I'll just shoot you. Like, sorry. I'll say that twice. Sorry, let me incriminate myself. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, nigga?
You know what? I can't get mad at you for being yourself, so what you gotta say. But on that tip, yeah, that was all I had fighting wise because I'm just staying tuned. I think the fight's coming up maybe at the end of this month or maybe it's early next month, but it's coming.
That's
up
all I had sports in general. So
yeah.
I guess you take it away.
Man,
you said you still had
there was when it came to the NBA because we're getting back into the later half of this season, closing up into the playoffs. And you see how the race is going for a lot of people on these teams. I just wanted to highlight literally one team and one individual because they've flown so far under the radar. Knowing damn well that that we don't give a shit about the OKC Thunder at this point in time. I know it to be true. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man.
Special.
SGA.
He's
this
special.
Dude is honestly...
No one cares, by the way. At all. You're the only person I know that cares, and I know a lot of people that like
his game is underrated, man. It's just like he's having 30-point games where he had 42 like 2 weeks ago.
If he played on literally any other team, people would care.
Like, he's chilling, bro, and they're not losing. They're not losing, though. The thing is, Chris Paul's gone. They're still winning. And I don't know what it is about that team that's just like a dedication to excellence but not winning. Like a dedication to excellence but not getting the final. I can't even say not getting the finals because you still got to step in a brawn. One of those two is guaranteed winning.
I know we play a lot of positionless basketball now. What position is SGA? He's a 2, right?
I think he's a 2, but he runs their offense. So, but he's a 2. Yeah.
I think that nigga, he has braids like this, right?
Yeah.
He has those braids? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think that nigga would look good in a Charlotte Hornets jersey.
We got the trade package. No,
Scary Terry for
if y'all didn't know, we're now Hornets fans. Yeah. I've been as soon as LaMelo got drafted. At the end of the day, you know how it goes. You know
what I'm saying?
We supported that boy for a minute. You know what I'm saying? My number 2 team, but that's all I got on that. I did have to go ahead and pay some respects though because I think he's earned it.
Big shouts out to SGA, but other than that, that's all I had on sports. So, my name's Shuka.
My name's Ezigo.
And we'll catch y'all on the SportSpace.